Business news from the Capital Region. This is Washington Business Report with ABC7 national correspondent Rebecca Cooper.
Thanks for joining us for a fresh look at business and finance in the Washington region. Rebecca Cooper is off today. I'm Bruce DuPuyt. Coming up for you on today's show, from one food truck to 7 brick-and-mortar restaurants in the D.C. region in just 6 years. Plus, your Uber driver is not an Uber employee. He or she is a contractual worker. How this week's ruling on that could affect Uber's business model and the price you pay for your ride. Also, in our roundtable discussion, we'll pontificate perhaps on the global warming discussion and debate the Pope's comments from the week and how politicians might react. But first, our one-on-one interview today is with a man who is a success by his own right, but has lessons to share on how to spread success. Mike Daniels is chairman at Invincea, the cybersecurity company headquartered in Fairfax, and was one of the senior executives who built SAIC to $11 billion. He has worked between the Washington technology industry and Silicon Valley for more than 3 decades. His resume, an impressive one, too long to go into now. Let's just say that his idea of slowing down is serving on the board of directors at BlackBerry and 2 other public companies and chairing the boards of 2 other firms. Mike Daniels, welcome. It is really terrific to have you here on Washington Business Report.
Good morning, Bruce. Nice to be with you.
You have built high-growth technology companies over time throughout your career. What lessons, in terms of getting through the tough times, what lessons have you learned about pivoting as technologies change?
Through the tough times, you need to just persevere, Bruce, and then what you need to do is, if there's any watchword, I think, in the technology industry, it's flexibility and adaptability. You have to see what the market is telling you, and you have to make the changes in your company, or else you'll fail. Because
your world, our world, is one, it seems, of near constant disruption.
Constant disruption, constant change. It's one of the things I've always loved about the tech industry.
It's something you have to acclimate yourself to. It's inevitable. It's baked into the bread, so to speak. So enjoy the ride, because there's no getting around near constant change in the tech world.
There is constant change, and in the almost 40 years I've been involved in it, it's both the good side of it and the bad side. And if you are not a person that can adapt and be flexible and change with the direction of the market, you simply won't survive in the tech industry.
You, by any definition, are an entrepreneur. You like to take risks. Your history is one of building companies from scratch. Interestingly though, you also enjoy helping others build the project, their endeavor. You like helping others build advance toward their goals. Can you talk about that for a bit?
Yes, I think the reason after 35 years of, like all of us in the tech industry, working day and night and building companies I was involved in, I stopped working full time, and I basically started going on boards, investing in tech companies here and around the country and helping those people. And the reason I did that was because I had great mentors and great people I worked with who'd built great companies that I was part of.
Talk about your attitude toward your workforce. Why is their success, their income, their education, their lives away from work, why has that been such a focus and a priority for you?
Because people are the key to building any kind of company. It doesn't matter if it's in the tech industry or other industries. That's a lesson I've learned, and you need to help those people, guide them, work with them, empower them, and let them reach their full potential, because people are what make a company great.
We know that income matters, that salary is what allows us to pay our bills, but survey after survey tells us that there are things people care about as it relates to their job, to their workplace life, that go beyond money. Do you walk around, are you someone who is in touch with folks throughout the company to get a sense of what the other issues beyond money are?
100%, because every company I've been involved in, Bruce, that's ever been successful, whether public or private, the driving motivation in that company was not to make a lot of money. It was to build a great company where we could provide jobs for ultimately thousands of people, to give them good incomes for their families, to build houses, to buy cars, to educate their children. Our focus was never to make a lot of money.
You have a rich life away from the office. You are someone who has fun when he's not at work. Can you talk about how some of the things you do away from work help you when you are on the job?
Yes, I am. I'm a real adventurer, and I'm thankful I am. I'm a trekker, I'm a hiker, I'm a cyclist, and my wife and I and our family have gone to the far ends of the earth. So I have always used that, even while I was working full-time, Bruce, and still do today. It's a source of relaxation for me, and it also gives me a totally different perspective on the day-to-day world of business. So there's some risk in it, but you measure those risks. There's a lot of adventure, but the key thing is you're learning something new constantly everywhere you go in the world, and learning, to me, constantly is the best thing in life.
Do you find that sometimes your best ideas come when you're at some remove from the work environment?
All the time. I'm really a believer in that. I think your mind needs to be removed from time to time to the day-to-day business, and you need to get in remote places, and you have a sense of how small you are and how humbling that is. When you're in the great mountains of the world, like Everest Base Camp, I've trekked there. I just got back from the Arctic Circle. These are places that are otherworldly, and it puts everything in perspective for you and humbles you, quite frankly.
It probably goes without saying, but we'll say it anyway. You haven't always been a CEO. You've had jobs up and down the corporate ladder, including, right, I read, you've been a janitor, you've been a truck driver, you've flipped burgers. How have those experiences informed, to what extent do they help you now when you're on corporate boards, you're CEO?
Two of the greatest lessons I've learned in my entire life from those jobs. I was a janitor in my father's small business in a little town in southeast Missouri where I grew up. I graduated to be a truck driver every summer. We'd get up at 4 in the morning. We'd be done at 8 at night. When I went to college for a semester, I flipped burgers in North Chicago, Illinois, while I was at Northwestern. I gained an appreciation for very hard work, and it didn't matter if you were a janitor or a truck driver or working in McDonald's. Those were honorable jobs for the people who came there every day. They worked hard, they were trustworthy, they were honest about what they did, and that created a good life for them, having a job and something they focused on, and that's one of the most important things you can take away from that.
When Monday Night Football started way back in the early days of, back in the early 70s, my brother and I went around the neighborhood with a venture that we called Monday Night Betting. And sometimes it's the smallest experiences in life that get you accustomed to dealing with other people. I don't like to talk about my betting life, but it comes to mind as you describe some of your experiences.
Those are important things, and Bob Beister, who was a founder of SAIC, he and I worked together closely for years, and he always said, all of us together are smarter than any one of us. And if there's a mistake people make in the tech and other industries, and I've seen it time and time again, they start to think they're the smartest people in the world, and don't ever believe it. You're not. You need the people around you to make you successful.
No question about that, and you have had more than your share, if you don't mind me phrasing it quite that way. But a pleasure to meet you, pleasure to be able to talk with you, Mike Daniels.
Thanks so much, Bruce. Great to be with you.
We'll do it again.
Okay.
Thanks very much.